Supreme Lord, eternal truth, let us obey thee alone and live according to truth. Bande Mataram. Good morning. Welcome to this spiritual congregation. Today we are going to have a short discussion on Sri Aurobindo's supramental yoga. Supramental yoga. We are going to have a short discussion today. Sri Aurobindo writes about supramental yoga. The supramental yoga is at once a ascent towards the God. Two things, one ascent, when the ascent is there, there must be descent. Supramental yoga is at once an ascent towards God and a descent of Godhead into the embodied nature. Ascent towards the God and a descent of Godhead into the embodied nature, that is supramental yoga. Then how is it? How the road? It is not difficult. It is not easy one. Very difficult, very tough. Don't touch it. If somebody says, don't touch it, your fingers may burn out. Because this is like this. Sri Aurobindo describes in his own words. The road of yoga is long. Every inch of ground has to be won against much resistance. Only resistance that opposes the flow of motion, that is resistance. Each inch has to be won against much more resistance. Thou shalt find thyself alone in thy anguish. In the anguish, in the persuasion, you may find alone. Nobody will be there, because that is that must be, this type of inspiration must be there, that confidence there, that aspiration must be there, that actually with that severity you have to go. You may find somebody, thou shalt find thyself alone in the anguish. The demons are furious on the path. The path you are treading must be enslaved. Where you are treading, only you will find demons. Not only demons, they are furious demons. They will be furious on the path. Gods unwilling above thee. The gods unwilling above thee. That also is the thing to be seen. But you have to become prepared. With the strong determination, we have to tread the supramental yogic path. In Savitri, Sri Aurobindo quotes few words, writes here. What is the major, how about his yoga, Sri Aurobindo quotes 5-6 lines in Savitri. The spirits shall look out through matter's gaze. The spirits shall look out through matter's gaze. Matter now enveloped spirits, enveloping spirit in an enveloped stage. It is getting enveloped by the matter. So, if the purpose of the yoga, the materialization yoga will come by this way. The spirit shall look out through matter's gaze. In the now, things are only matter is gazing. Spirit is actually keeping silent. But here the Sri Aurobindo writes, spirit shall look out, not look in. Look out through matter's gaze. If spirit is coming forward and looking through the matter's gaze, then what will be the role of the spirit? What will be its action? The matter shall reveal the spirit's face. Spirit's face, yet matter is concealing. And when the spirit will be aware, self-aware, when it will look at through the matter's gaze, then matter shall reveal the spirit's face. If that is done, matter and spirit, one is gazing, spirit is gazing out through matter's gaze, and the matter is revealing, now concealing, until now it is concealing. After that, it will reveal as soon as it looks out. Then what will be the external change? Then man and superman shall be at one. Man and superman shall be at one. It will be materialized, they will manifest. Then all the earth become a single life, not actually distorted and differently falling here and there. That is not. All the life, all the earth become a single life. Then what happens? Even the multitude shall hear the voice. Multitude unable to hear the voice, that voice is not reaching. If that man and superman shall be at one, then even the multitude shall hear the voice and turn to commune with the spirit within. After hearing the multitude is not listening the voice, that will try to commune with the spirit within and strive to obey the high spiritual law. High spiritual law, that is that it must try to obey. Then second part of this yoga, Sri Aurobindo writes in same Savitri. He is writing on few lines in a glorious, in a diamond lines. Sri Aurobindo quotes here. It is things not only for us. Everything, everyone has to realize what is the specialization of this integral supramental yoga. How it is unique. Where every yoga ends, integral yoga starts here. Sri Aurobindo's yoga, how it is different. Sri Aurobindo speaks of. Yoga means naturally union with the divine, we know. It is actually leaned, it is completely open towards the divine. It is for the divine itself, for the sake of the divine, not for towards the sake of the man. We know, that's why we are proceeding. But how it is differentiated, how it is separated, Sri Aurobindo's yoga, Sri Aurobindo speaks of. Earth must transform herself and equal heaven. Spearanda uses the term transform. Earth must transform herself unless till date it is not transformed. So it must transform herself, not only transform and equal how much, how long it and equal to heaven, equal heaven. If it is not possible, not done, then heaven descend into earth's mortal state. Heaven has to descend. Where his heaven is, he has to descend into the earth's mortal state, because it has to be materialized. Since long it has been, there is supposed to happen, but yet to happen, it has been not been done. So earth must transform herself and equal heaven, or heaven descend into earth's mortal state. People may feel very big vidwans are there, learned persons are there, big sadhaks are there, other ambassadors of the other faculties, they are also there. How is it possible? How it will be done? Sri Aurobindo gives the clue. For such vast spiritual change, Sri Aurobindo speaks of, this is a spiritual change and a vast spiritual change. For such vast spiritual change to be, out of the mystic cavern in man's heart, only everything is there inside your heart. Behind the heart there is the cave where the heavenly psychic being is seated. So everything he has to do, this is the spark of the absolute. He has come down into this troubling world with a mission. He is there well inside us. So out of the mystic cavern in our heart, the heavenly psychic must put up her veil. When we are thinking and talking of the thing, the word put up means the opposite, it is put on. The veil the psychic has put on. Now itself he has to put off. It has to uncover it. It has to put the thing, take it out. And not only taking it out, step into common nature's crowded rooms, the rooms where originally common people they are staying. Into that the heavenly psyche has to come down, step and stand uncovered, step into, then stand uncovered in that nature's front. If it is, it will stay concealed. It is to staying at the back, then no purpose will be fulfilled. It has to stand uncovered, put off, then uncover at the understand at the nature's front, and rule its thoughts and feel the body and alive. Rule the front, nature's front. It is nature's thought, it has to rule and feel the body and life. Everything it has to pull. Everywhere you see, only that will be the raj of the spirit. The psychic has to, the spirit has to lead. The spirit has to come forward. The spirit has to lead. Spirit has to take, guide, and come stand uncovered in the nature's front. So this is the second thing we have discussed here. Naturally, the third thing where we are going, the third phase you are going, is it in the, what is the difference, how the initial people, the masters of the other faculties, how they were going. Sri Aurobindo writes of here, Sri Aurobindo gives the clue. Sri Aurobindo writes, now, he who would turn to God must give up the world. This was the basic fundamental. In the old yogos, it was actually this line was followed. He who would turn to God must leave the world. The world is unnecessary. Taka miti taka. Brahma satya. Brahma is truth. Jagat is truth. So many confusions. So many ambassadors they have proceeded with their own enlightened thought. That was like this. If who He who would turn to God must leave the world. This world, it can't accommodate us. We have to leave it out. He would live in the spirit. After leaving the world, who has lived in the spirit must give up life. This life is meaningless, not necessary to live in the life. He who has made the self renounces the self. Once he has made the self, he has renounced the self, not necessary to live myself and all. He has found his thing. That you just imagine, if this type of people are staying, if some people who are enlightened, who are capable, who are doing the sadhana, if they leave behind the world, what will be the future of this world, who are suffering in the downtrodden, the people who are in the uplift on the downtrodden race, on the fallen globe, they are staying, what will be their conditions? So against your in the quotes here, two also in the voice of Lord of Death, two only arts the door of man's escape. Death of his body matters get to peace. Death of his soul is last felicity. But he does not know soul is immortal. It is no death. Body temporarily it is going. It is actually going and mixing with the Panchabhuta. So in that we know. But soul is immortal. But these people, the Lord of Death, actually they don't have the idea to do so. Another thing before coming, another couple of lines from Savitri, we want to quote it here. Sri Aurobindo writes, he who would save the world must share its pain. Naturally, that's what avatars have come. And twin avatars, Sri Aurobindo and the mother, they have descended here and they have got the brief thing, the brief idea, very strong idea, very in the strong languages they have told. To raise the world to God in a deathless light, to bring God down to the world on earth we came, to change the earthly life to life divine. This earthly life has to be changed to the life divine. This darkness has to go. This death has to be disappear. Man must be immortal, leaving behind its immortality. Man must feel the touch of light, not the darkness. For that we have come, we are doing. This is our mission, this is our ambition, and we are doing, we are on our way. So he who would save the world must share its pain. If he knows not grief, how shall he find grief's care? For that you imagine mother came all the way from the most dazzled Paris to India, and in Pondicherry he settled for the upliftment of this downtrodden race, mankind. If he falls walks above the mortality's head, how shall the mortal reach that too high path? Naturally, they will sleep, they will fall here, considering and taking and thinking of their own fate. This was there in mind, this was the destiny, this is the fate we are leading. We will stay behind. For that, the divine came down in the guise of the twin avatar. There are two who are one and play in many worlds. A world's desire compelled her mortal birth, but actually forgot, did not understand. He who would save the world must be one with the world. All suffering things contain in his heart space and bear the grief and the joy of all the lives. He has to take it, everything he has to, because he has to change. He has to transform. So all the suffering things he has to feel. All the entire suffering world he has to take on himself. For that the dual power, they have come and they are taking care of us. Concentrating on the few lines on integral yoga, here in this quotation we can take. A radical and total change of consciousness is not only the whole meaning, but the whole method of integral yoga. In integral yoga, here you will get Hatha yoga, Karma yoga, Jnana yoga, Bhakti yoga, everything is there, where all the yogas end, integral yoga starts. A radical and change of consciousness is not only the whole meaning, it is the whole meaning and the whole method of this integral yoga. Sri Aurobindo quotes another, moves forward. It is not a rationalization but a supramentalization. Not a rationalization but a supramentalization. Not moralizing but spiritualizing of life. That is the object of this yoga. All the revelatory aspects of divine must be caught in the wide net of the integral yoga. Nothing to be concealed. The net of integral yoga is so vast, so everything must be realized. Yes, everything must be come to the fore, must be revealed. So Sri Aurobindo speaks of all life is yoga. Vande Mataram.